The stadium just about packed, hoping for around 12,000 here tonight. The pre-match weather might have dissuaded one or two, but they're a hardy bunch, the black and whites and the red and whites, and take more than a little bit of snow and sub-zero temperatures to put them off. We have taken the precaution of digging out the orange match balls for this one, and Craig Hall has one in hand, ready to get this game underway. Just a little dusting of snow on the field. Ben Thaler ready to get this one underway. And whoever gets their hands on the ball first is a Rovers player. It's Danny Maguire who got to that bouncing ball first. FC slow off the mark and already defending their own try line. What a great kickoff that was, hanging in the air. And how can Hull KR immediately capitalise? No, they can't, because the pass could not be taken.
No advantage, boys.
Mulhern, I think it was, couldn't take that.
Well, Danny Maguire looks to hit Mulhern on the short ball under the sticks. You can see he flashes around the back of the ruck, hits him short, some space around the back. Goes right at the line, he's looking at some defenders, and Mulhern, well, he's got to do better than that. You get that good field position. Look at this for a kickoff. The ball went high on the kicking tee, great height on it, and obviously it gives the Hull KR players that time to get there and put Hull FC under pressure. All about field position.
Well, that is a let-off for Hull FC, because they were caught cold, literally, by that kick-off. Very slow to respond, and Danny Maguire was there first.
And normally you can see the way that the opposition's lining the ball up on the kicking tee. Where they're going to be kicking it, how high the kicking tee is. And there was an acre of space behind the 40-metre mark.
Hull FC have never lost a round one game under the coaching of Lee Radford. And they won't want to do that tonight here on the other side of the city. They're up to the halfway line on the last tackle, and here is Sneed hoisting that ball high. It's a good kick. And Chris Atkin didn't look so steady underneath it, and then FC are penalised.
That was a good response from Hull FC. They were under pressure from the kick-off, knocked out the first set, looked like they put a quality kick in, high and hanging, and Chris Atkin under pressure from 2 or 3 defenders in the black and white shirt, and they undid all that good work and give a penalty away.
So neither side looking that comfortable under the kick early on here. Here's Wella Haraki, one of the new signings for the Rovers. Drops the ball off to Mulhern. Now Musi Masoi. Charge from him.
Forward playing nice and flat, getting over the advantage line early on. Look again, running onto the flat ball.
Lawler and Drinkwater combining. Josh Drinkwater making his debut for the red and whites. Haraki. Maguire now. Maguire brings Joel Tompkins, the captain, back across the field. There is George Lawler, brought into the side with Ryan Shaw, unable to play. Little kick comes in. Oh, well, Matty Dawson-Jones.
She's close here, Bill.
Fifth tackle, Robert.
Do you think somebody got a touch
But
today?
Did he just leave that? Yeah. I think he was trying to almost shepherd it away and shield it. I won't be surprised if this is a try.
Yes, still 0, yeah, mate.
Well, I think they're trying to find out whether somebody's actually grounded the ball before it was grounded by Hull KR. The feeling from Ben Thaler is that it was.
Junior Vaivai might.
It just looks like he's offside, doesn't it?
On
it
that
just
angle,
looks like he's offside.
On that angle,
He's got
just
the yellow boots on. I think he's stood in front of Danny Maguire.
This will be interesting here. What's the concentration like? Oh no, he leaves it, Matty Dawson.
And he doesn't ground it.
Yeah, Robert Hicks there is he just wanted to see what happened at the end, to see whether there would be a greater advantage by giving Hull Kingston and Hull FC a 20-metre restart. He's decided that there hadn't, because the ball had been grounded. So he's given the penalty for offside, so that'll be 10 metres out.
He's offside, it's a penalty. He's offside, it's a penalty.
Junior Vaivai close,
Penalty.
but just got out of the blocks a little bit too quickly there.
Offside.
Just about discipline as well, that. Staying behind Danny Maguire. You know that on the last play, Danny Maguire is going to poke that ball through. He just anticipated the play a bit too early.
Keep going, Weller.
That obviously could have been the opening try in Hull KR's favour.
It's been a nervy start from both sides here. We've had a number of errors. Scott Taylor getting the cheers from the Hull Kingston Rovers supporters who used to cheer him when he was a Robins player. Danny Washbrook to Carlos Tuimavave. Washbrook playing in the halves. Jake Connor, of course, suspended, having got on the wrong side of a referee in a pre-season friendly. Here is Sneed. Sneed to Shaw, chiming in. Griffin. Beretta Faraimo withstands the early challenges. There is Lee Radford, hoping that this losing streak his side is on, or was on at the end of the last season, can come to an end here. Quickly out of the line, Junior Vaivai to make the tackle on Washbrook. The kick is hoisted and claimed, and well claimed by Atkin.
Well, he was in good form, wasn't he, last year, Chris Atkin? Made his debut for England, nights down in PNG. Not only played in the house, but played a bit as a youngster at full-back.
Wait! Don't get that out quick!
Craig Hall plays the ball. Here is Junior Vaivai then.
He's a big, powerful centre, isn't he? He's got good footwork at the line. Looks to explode when he gets that ball. Steps off his right foot, gets through the line. Again, another strong carry here.
Mulhern again, popular figure with the Rovers supporters. Maguire experiencing his first Hull derby, missed all 3 games last season, his debut year with the Robins. His Shaw
That's what.
got his first England cap against the French last October in Lee.
Good work from Danny Maguire, 2 tackles, doubled up his efforts after that quality kick, a purposeful kick, tactical kick into the corner, trying to make Hull FC work hard.
Faraimo is upended. It was Weller Haraki with the tackle. Here's Minicello now, up to the halfway line. He's bundled over. Jimmy Kinehorst in there to make the tackle. Another making his debut for the Robins. That's a slack pass, and there's a bit of ball watching there. Washbrook and Shaw left it to each other for a moment.
Well, they both just seem to pull away from that. Quite happy early on Hull FC to try and punch holes with Hull KR, who look certainly up for this game.
Ball out wide to Griffin on the last tackle. Griffin then stabs a kick downfield, but it sits up nicely for Chris Atkin. Atkin wrapped up by the pursuing Sneed and Houghton. Is Ben Crooks. Sneed all tangled up. Now Jimmy Kinehorst, the German international, left Leeds.
Wait here, please.
Had a brief loan spell with Widnes Vikings last year. Mossy Masoi. Almost up to the halfway line. 4 tackles gone. Lawler, little dart from him. Hadley with the tackle. Shikimanu assisting. Drinkwater hoists a high kick. They're ball watching again at the back.
Well, that's the second time that Jamie Shaw has watched the ball. First time he left it up to Danny Washbrook. Second time here, he's looking at Dawson Jones, and both of them don't go for it. And I was watching Josh Drinkwater in that set. He's just sitting behind the play, directing his plays where he wants them to land on the last tackle so he can kick that ball. He kicks it, and you can see Jamie Shaw frustrated, annoyed with himself that he didn't control that play.
Annoyed with his wingers' lack of communication as well. Matty Dawson Jones, new into the club. And let's not forget, playing with the orange ball. I don't suspect they've trained with a ball like this, so they may well have lost it in the night sky.
It's orange.
They do well to lose that in the night sky.
Sneed was running the clock close there, just got that goal line drop out of the way. Rovers back on the attack. Tim Sheens
call it a free.
A few words there. More pressure coming on the Hull FC defence. Mulhern, Lawler looking left and right. It's left he goes down the short side. Drinkwater, little kick comes in. Vai was just knocked off the ball by Shaw. Already, Josh Drinkwater doing what he did with the Dragons.
Well, Billy's the big indicator, isn't he? Wherever he is, 9 times out of 10 towards the back end of the set, the ball's going to go to him. And so you can see him, he's directing his players what he wants, where he wants them to line up, who he wants them to line up on.
So FC surviving, that's the second time they've been under pressure in that part of the field as well. The kick coming in, that's a short ball. Mosi Matungo took it well, under pressure. And they get the penalty.
What you would say from Hull FC is they're making decent meters. Every time the forwards are carrying the ball, young Matungo, I think he was quality last year, played big minutes. Every time he gets hold of the ball, he causes some damage. He quite intent the way he carries the ball. He picks out a man, gets over the top of him, and earns his side a penalty. Powerful charge.
I wondered whether Mark Sneyd might fancy just putting 2 points on the board, but tapped it. Here is Sneyd now. Here's Jamie Shaw. Shaw puts the brakes on and then skips across the field. And looking for a gap, he's found his gap as Jamie Shaw, almost to the line, the full-back. He toyed with the Rovers defence there. And they do get the penalty this time.
Bill, that was real poor defence, that. Robbie Mulhern, you can't watch like to Jamie Shaw. You can't sit back, you've got to talk to the man, inside and outside here. Don't just wait for him to weave across the line and pick his hole.
Now Scott Taylor, as FC tap the penalty. Not going for the 2 points. They've got Rovers on their own try line. Here is Mark Sneyd. Sneyd short ball. Forward, cry the Robin supporters. Minicello plays the ball. Houghton, Griffin, trying to use his considerable strength to centre, but Kindhorst makes the tackle. Beretta Faraimo will try and barrel his way through, but he can't. Again, good defence. Crooks and Atkin that time. Sneyd. He goes across the field. It's with Washbrook now. Can't get the pass away. 4 tackles gone. Houghton. Quick play the ball. Sneyd, little grubber kick. He'll chase it himself and it's well claimed.
They got him over that try line.
It's a penalty. Penalty for second effort. Yeah. They dragged him over the line. Good play, wasn't it, from Kindhorst? What about the kick as well from Mark Sneyd? He can read the situation. At first, everyone thinking it was going to be a high kick to the corner. He just adjusts his sights, kicks it behind, drops it close to the line.
Here's the run
Jamie
from
Shaw
Jamie Shaw. I do think they're limited in the kicking options. His balance, his agility, his speed. Probably that last pass, he was looking for Danny Houghton, couldn't get the ball to him. But the options for Hull FC are limited. Mark Sneyd has to take control of that last tackle. For Hull KR, they've got 3 quality kickers: Drinkwater, Maguire and Atkin.
So Rovers surviving a scare there. Shaw very nearly going all the way to claim the first try of the game, as it is. 11 minutes on the clock, 0-0.
Danny, wait, mate.
Here in East Yorkshire.
Cheers, Rich. So 3.
Across the field, here is Kane Linnett.
Danny! Where it's got. Go for.
Just inside FC territory.
5. Move!
Mulhern again, getting through lots of work. Rob Mulhern. Drinkwater, Linnett. Oh, the ball went behind Junior Vai. Ricochets back to Kane Linnett. Referee says it's still on the last. FC have the ball back. A bit of hair and scare and play there.
Well, you like the attitude of teams when they attack on the last play. They don't just kick the ball into the corner, defend that next set. They want to take the chances, they want to take the opportunities.
Just like last night's game between Saints and Wigan, this being played at an incredible pace. The team's coming out of the blocks quickly. Houghton.
Wait here, please, boys. 4. Go.
Edging his sides up towards the halfway line.
Okay.
Sneyd kicks into open territory. It's a good kick as well, into the corner.
Early kick as well, Bill. Kicked on the 4th there. realising his side have been
All up.
under a little bit of pressure. 12 minutes, and Hull KR have had the lion's share of possession. They've had field position, and they've been controlling in those 12 minutes that we have on the clock. Mark Sneyd
Just don't trap him in, mate, when you're
needs
attacking
to
the ball. Right.
probably gain some
I know sometimes a lot bigger, but make sure you're not having contact with the man.
and
The
some
ball's gone.
presence in this game.
Sorry, no,
Doesn't have the platform to play off.
Fellas,
Needs to
you've
grab
got
this
15 minutes,
game.
somebody else.
Ben Thaler getting the size to pack this scrum. The clock is running.
Shot clock off. Out.
And FC looking to make Hull Kingston Rovers work hard to get out
Knock up.
and look for the error. They've got it.
Wella Haraki just loses control of that ball as he's getting
Shot
up to
clock on,
play
Tony.
it. Good addition to Hull KR in 2019. Wella Haraki, you just watch, hits his knee.
Wait, boys, please.
Good spot by the referee, Ben Thaler. Only a little one.
Come on, boys. I'll tell you when. Let's fuck.
Wella Haraki
Go, guys.
muttering angrily at the back of the scrum, frustrated
Danny, head in. Danny.
that he's put the side
Quickly.
under pressure.
Shot clock's off, Tom.
Former New
Dan,
Zealand
get in
Maori
the scrum.
international.
Out.
Was with Salford and Widnes last year, came cross-country during the close season.
One move, Josh.
Junior
We're here.
Vai makes the
Go,
tackle.
one.
Sikamanu now. Hadley,
Two, move,
bang in front of those posts.
Hold it,
Just
two.
the emphasis of the game just changing a bit. It was Hull Kingston Rovers who looked more buoyant early on, but it's FC who are looking more lively now.
Three, move,
Well, he spots it, Mulhern, but he's got to make sure that he hits and stick
Go,
on
go,
Danny
mate.
Houghton.
Here's Musi Matongo, bounces off the challenge of Musi Masoi.
For move. Go.
Tompkins eventually gets a hold. Then Sneyd
Come to the
shapes
gap.
to kick,
Full
keeps the
forward.
ball moving. Carlos Tumavavi. Rovers fans appealing for a knock-on there. Drinkwater with the tackle. They go down the short side. Sikamanu is over the line. And he's got that ball down for the first try of the night. And Hull FC, who'd made a bit of a shaky start to the game, have got their act together and got the first points on the board, and it's Sikamanu making his 80th Hull appearance, who makes Wella Haraki pay for that error.
Well, we heard the captains before the game talk about field position and how important it's going to be in this game. Wella Haraki makes the mistake straight from the scrum. They had to ride a couple of real tough challenges. Musi Masoi on Matongo, but then it goes over to the right-hand side. And Sikamanu, all the experience that he's got, he hits, he has the bumpers up, he gets down low, then rides over the tackle and finishes over the try line.
He also recognises that Kane Lynette is backpedaling, he's not in position. He runs the risk of making that tackle and the referee blowing the whistle. But what a tactical decision by that player, Mark Sneyd, to kick the ball, kick it long and go for field position.
Now then, Mark Sneyd with the conversion. Normally takes his time about it. He's wrapped this one up quickly. And he's got 2 more points, and Hull lead by 6 points to 0.
Well, I talked about him having to impose himself on this game, Mark Sneyd, and it was from his kick, his tactical kick, the field position that it put his side in, just allowed Sikamanu to target that late retreating defender.
Time off.
A lot of space as well here again, and they're going to go for the same kick-off.
Back on.
They have done. Is somebody going to get to this one?
Nobody touched it backwards on Hull.
They've got the ball back, but not convincingly.
Well, it's always easier when you're running onto the ball and you're onside and you follow the kick up and trying to stand underneath it and catch it. You can't jump, you can't get that hang time. It's easy for the defending side.
I think that's the sign of a Tim Sheen side. They're free thinking, they're trying things. It's not just the bog standard ordinary procedure that they follow. That's 2 short kickoffs now, and they'll get the backing from the coach.
Sikamanu with the try, Mark Sneyd with the conversion, and that is Sneyd's 500th in Super League.
Play on. 4 still.
So that's a landmark for Sneyd with his first successful kick of the night.
Pushing forward, go.
And Hull with Sneyd hoisting the kick on the last tackle. And Atkin is underneath it. Again, not convincingly. The kick is put into the corner, and Matty Dawson-Jones will claim the try. And Ben Thaler will ask his video ref, Robert Hicks, to have a look at this.
Have a try.
He reckons it's a try on the
No
field.
knock on.
Ben Thaler, Matty Dawson-Jones on his debut. Could have got a quick follow-up try for Hull FC.
Well, Chris Atkin under pressure. All the Hull FC chasers look to be onside. They're aware of the thought process of Mark Sneyd. They chase hard. They make it a difficult night, a difficult job for Chris Atkin.
Well, they cleared any players from being offside, so they just want to look at the challenge now, see if there's a knock-on in the middle of that.
I think when Carlos Tumavardi goes up, his body position is, he goes up, he tries to get the ball, tries to tap it back, comes off his shoulder, goes backwards, in my opinion. He's looking round for it. And then Jamie Shaw, well, he gets a clean tap on it and taps it to Dawson-Jones.
Looks okay. Looks okay. Tumavardi, good thinking from the fullback. And Danny Washbrook, I don't think he's had an easy night so far. He's been under pressure from Vaivai. What about the skill from the makeshift standoff on that occasion?
Well, he's like an old-fashioned loose forward, isn't he, Danny Washbrook? He's got all the skills. The first kick from Mark Sneyd, he's always going to put you under pressure. Then that kick, delicate kick from Danny Washbrook. And Dawson-Jones has to pick this up cleanly. Does he pick it up cleanly? Yes, he does. Under pressure from Drinkwater, gets it down.
Robert Hicks had a good look at that, and Ben Thaler's decision was a try on the field, and that is what the video ref reckons as well. What a turnaround in this game, with Hull FC striking with 2 quick tries. Matty Dawson-Jones getting his first try for his new club.
Well, they hardly touched the ball, Hull FC, in the opening 12 minutes. And Mark Sneyd with a bit too much time there to place that ball where he wants it. Ultimately, it comes down to a committed challenge from the Black and Whites, and that's a quality finish from Matty Dawson-Jones.
I think when Hull FC come into this game, they needed a good performance. Everyone's been talking about the 11 games they lost at the back end of the year. Not signing many players, missing Jake Connor, Albert Kelly, Talanoa, Bowden, Westerman.
So Mark Sneyd in front of that packed terracing, but doesn't look as though they can get to the FC goal kicker because he's landed another one. And Hull are 12-0 up. Lee Radford's very content with life at the moment. Tim Sheens with a bit to think about.
Well, Lee Radford and Shaw going into the game. We talked about the pressure in the build-up. Tim Sheens knows what it's about now as the Hull KR coach.
Castleford 6-0 up against the Catalan Dragons. Salford leading 4-2 at Huddersfield. The other games going on tonight.
One move! Jimmy! Go! Go!
So Hull FC with those tries from Sika Manu, Matty Dawson-Jones. Good tackle ahead here.
Go! Good Junior!
On an icy night at the K-Con Lightstream Stadium.
They look to shift that ball wide then to get a one-on-one with Sika Manu and Drinkwater. He was helped out on the inside. I think it was Wella Haraki that came across to help his half-back out. Good speed, good moving, filmy half run there.
K-Con Craven Park, I should say. As Sneyd drills a kick in, and Atkin brings it under control, but is then faced by a good chase. Danny Washbrook involved. It was Washbrook's kick that set up the try for Matty Dawson-Jones. Of course, he's filling in for Jake Connor, and he's not done a bad job. 33 years of age, he had a joint testimonial with Danny Kerman before the season at Wakefield,
He's a talented player, isn't he? He can cover a number of positions, in key positions. Danny Washbrook, his side give the penalty away, involved in the tackle. Ben Thaler not having the interference.
So the penalty goes to Hull Kingston Rovers. They'll be relieved at that. Another big game rounding off our live action from the Betfred Super League tomorrow at 5 o'clock when Warrington Wolves take on the Leeds Rhinos on Sky Sports Arena. That promises to be a massive match as well. What a great start to the season it's been. Last night's contest between St Helens and Wigan, and now this one as Hull Kingston Rovers take on their nearest and dearest. And the ball finds Jimmy Kinehorst, and Kinehorst weaves his way back in field, then straightens up and runs into Scott Taylor. Hadley making the tackle as well. Rovers looking to respond. Mulhern about 10 metres out. Lawler, here's Weller Haraki. Haraki onto Drinkwater, Drinkwater to Kane Leonard. Maguire finds Josh Drinkwater. He will kick cross field. Kinehorst challenging for it, but opposite number Josh Griffin comfortable underneath that one. A gasp of frustration by the look of things from Tim Sheens. Not the best kick.
He spotted that then, didn't he? Josh Griffin, he could see that the Hull KR defenders were all nice and flat, so he knew that the kick was coming just behind the line. But good positioning.
Good urgency as well. Not only did he defuse the threat, basic mistake. Undone all the good work there from Josh Griffin. Simply dropped that ball while he's trying to regather and regain his feet to play it.
Just be careful on the leg pull. Just be careful, mate, where we are in the position.
Ian Proctor's just pointed out Beretta Faraimo has lasted longer this year than he did in last year's derby. He was already sent off by this stage last year.
Was it 9 minutes he got sent off?
9 minutes?
9 minutes?
It was 9 minutes. But he's come up with the error there on the halfway line.
One move done! Back here, lads. Go, Danny, quick.
Haraki plays the ball.
Second big carry from Mitch Garbutt.
Garbutt, another of the new recruits out there now.
Three movement!
Mulhern still out there.
Go three.
Lawler. Dart from him, but Danny Houghton as ever making the tackle. Hull's top tackler last year. He's been the top tackler for the last 9 seasons, in fact, as Danny Houghton. He's got some more to do here. The ball evades him as he reaches Lawler, but he gets hold of Lawler this time, does Houghton. The last man to top the tackle count in the Hull colours before Houghton was his coach, Lee Radford, in fact. Maguire puts the kick in, it's a good one. Shaw looking over his shoulder and judged it well, did the fullback. Or did he?
Rob,
again, the referee wants to check.
Can you make sure if you played it or not, please? Yeah.
I think the kick that Josh Drinkwater put in on the previous set of 6, Danny Maguire, Chris Aitken, the variety they've got on that last tackle. Let's have a look where this ball...
No, it's same with the dead ball line.
Well, he just wants to see whether Jamie Shaw actually touched the ball. Because he was shielding the ball out, Ben Thaler wasn't sure whether he'd actually touched the ball. I don't think he did.
Oh, it's already over the line, isn't it?
Well, Jamie Shaw is bewildered by that decision, and
well, Robert Hicks has said that he can't see whether there was any contact or not from the pictures he's seen, whether it was played at, and therefore Ben's got to go with his live decision, which was a goal line dropout. So I can't see any touch. I think it's that they're looking at to see whether it was Motongo that touched it. But with the goal line dropout, which was the referee's on-field call.
Matthew Motongo inadvertently diverting that ball with his heel, in fact. But it's given Hull Kingston Rovers possession. 24 minutes on the clock. They trail by 12 points to 0. Those back-to-back tries for Hull FC have put them in a good position in this game. But Hull KR looking to counter. Garbutt looking over his shoulder for some support. then plays the ball. Here is Drinkwater. Drinkwater, Maguire. Maguire takes on the whole defence. Matongo and Minicello make the tackle. Tompkins picks up and goes on his own. The ball comes out backwards. Maguire puts a little kick in. Ricochet off the post. Oh, and gets away from O'Hearn.
It was a poor setup until the last couple of plays. Then you get an offload on the last play. When Joel Tompkins goes the short side on the right, gives the ball inside, then it's a good kick from Maguire. But a couple of wasted efforts when you're down there, Hull FC's line. Move them around. Change the angle at the line. A good kick, good pressure. But Hull FC come up with the ball.
Shaw brought down at the second attempt by Kindhorse, just on the halfway line. Here's Carlos Tuimavave. Haraki gets a hold of him. The referee calls held. They didn't release quickly enough, and they'll get the penalty.
He's a good player, isn't he, Carlos Tuimavave, playing in the right centre tonight. Played a lot in the halves over his career at Hull FC. You can see he won't go down, he won't give up his legs, he's fighting with the opposition's forwards to get that quick play of the ball for his hooker.
They might take two here. Good decision. We know, don't we? We've watched Mark Sneyd throughout his career. He'll take advantage of discipline like that. It was good fight, you're right, Tez. Carlos Tuimavave refused to go down. He made those Hull KR defenders work a little bit too hard for Ben Thaler's liking. So a penalty earned for his side. And Mark Sneyd will get a shot. And a possible two. Lee Radford must be happy with the way that his side came back into that game. As I said, 12 minutes, Hull KR had all the field position. They looked comfortable, if you can be comfortable in a Hull derby, and then the black and whites just turned up the heat.
Sneyd quickly going through his routine, looking to tag on 2 more points. He's already landed 2 successful conversions. This from distance, he's pushed it.
Now that is a good point that you've made there. He is one of those players that will need to alter that routine. We've seen him over the years. He goes through it very methodical. It's up near 2 minutes sometimes for Mark Sneyd to take a goal kick. He's got to do it quicker this year, and it may well alter his accuracy.
Castleford lead 8 points to 0 against the Catalan Dragons.
Wait here, please. Rob! Come on, it's foot, guys! What? Rob, quicker!
Hull still lead 12 points to 0 here against Hull Kingston Rovers. Halfway line.
Wait, guys, wait!
FC in possession. Here is Washbrook. Now Mark Sneyd. Sneyd on to Shaw. Shaw brought down by Maguire, who was out quickly to close him down.
Up very quickly, Bill. They realise the threat. They're running laterally, Hull FC, trying to get outside those big players in the red and white shirt, but they're working hard, the Robins.
Minicello tracking down, beg your pardon, Lynette tracking down Minicello there, stopping his progress. That's the 5th tackle, and Sneyd, little dink over the top, judged it perfectly.
Well, he just knows when to inject himself into the game, doesn't he, Mark Sneyd?
Shot clock on.
Comes across over on that short side. You can see him there, looking, setting up. Does he drop it over the line? They've got the numbers. Quite content just to kick it off the field. Well, as soon as he drops that ball onto his boot, he knows where it's going.
They missed him last season, Mark Sneyd. He only made 3 appearances in the second half of the campaign because of injury problems. One of a number of absentees for Hull FC. They've got absentees again tonight, of course, but they seem to be doing okay without them.
It's your key personnel, it's your brains trust, that's what you want. All your forwards need the direction around the field, what you want off your halfback, who's going to set up the plays.
Coming up to the half-hour mark as Craig Hall is brought down.
Go, play on.
Just inside his own 40. Mitch Garbutt. Rovers supporters getting on the referee's back. Good strong run from James Greenwood. Again, they're appealing to the referee to show him some sympathy. A little chip kick ahead from Drinkwater. The ball still bouncing. Lynette out wide. to Craig Hall, and Hall couldn't take the pass.
Not taking his advantage. Look at the ball. Shot clock off.
Well, he must be very frustrated, Craig Hall. Proven try scorer. Good invention on the last tackle. If that pass is a little bit more accurate, gives him half a chance.
Good carry from James Greenwood though before, wasn't left two Hull FC players on the floor. You get that quick play of the ball, it enables the kicker to kick on the front foot under no pressure. The man who was under pressure that time was Jamie Shaw at the back.
10 seconds.
You could see the red and white shirt pushing down on him.
Shot clock's off. Out.
So head and feed to Hull Kingston Rovers.
Wait, please, one. Stop, wait here.
Junior Vaivai, tackled by Carlos Tuma Vaivai. Here's Mitch Garbett. Garbett is stopped 10 metres out.
Commits 3 defenders though. There'll be a space somewhere.
Still going. Drinkwater, Maguire, short ball, Tompkins stretches out and slides over. And the Rovers captain comes up with a response. FC protest. But Joel Tompkins, given the captaincy this season, has found a way back for his team, taking that short pass and sliding, slithering on this icy surface over the Hull line.
And look at this kick here. Drinkwater puts it into space. Jamie Shaw caught in two minds whether to go for it or not. There was no advantage there. It goes back. Hull KR get the ball. I was really impressed with the carry from Mitch Garbett. 3 players couldn't get him down. Those 3 players were still trying to get back, get sorted at the ruck, get sorted out wide. And you had Hull FC defenders then jamming in, staying out wide. They didn't know what was going on. And then all of a sudden, Joel Tompkins just hits a decent line, gets a one-on-one with Mark Sneyd and gets over the line.
Well, you can see there that he just slides over the line. His momentum takes him over. The top half of his body gets over the line. There's no promotion of the ball, so that's fine.
Now then, Josh Drinkwater with the goal-kicking duties at his new club. And this to cut the deficit. He's on target. And half an hour gone, just over. And it's Hull Kingston Rovers 6, Hull FC 12.
Well, it was the extra effort from the big man, the replacement forward, Mitch Garbett. He collects the ball, he does this so well, reverses, keeps his feet, refuses to go down. And those 3 defenders are committed to that tackle. They can't get back into place. Everybody's huddled around the ball, and that's the reason Joel Tompkins was able to find some space and exploit it.
Hull FC in the lead. They've won on each of their last 3 visits to this ground. Although the last meeting with Hull Kingston Rovers, they were on the losing end. But that was on their own pitch. Good recent record here, though, FC. Greenwood. Big tackle on him. And Mickey Payer wanted a second bite, and he's penalised for that.
So that's another good game, isn't it, on Sky Sports. James Greenwood, the youngster, strong player, gets at Mickey Payer, the ex-Hull KR man. And then strong running from the forwards, earning the sides penalties, the commitment to carry the ball into contact and run as hard as they can is getting some rewards.
Kane Linnett now, and Hull Kingston Rovers with half-time approaching, enjoying a good patch here. And here is Joel Tompkins. Came, of course, from the Wigan Warriors after his mid-season blip last year when his career seemed to come off the rails. And he credits with Hull Kingston Rovers with giving him a second chance and getting things back on track. The ball from Atkin over the top to Kai North, and Kai North will stretch for the line. He's judged short. Crooks then. Little kick from Maguire. The ball's dotted down, and it's Mitch Garbett who claims the try.
Tackle 4 on. We have a try.
Ben Thaler reckons it's fair and square, a Mitch Garbett try. but he wants Robert Hicks to have a look.
I thought he'd missed the chance here. Mykonos gets the ball. He had space outside with Crooks. Is he onside? I think he is onside. Look at that. Acres of space. Nobody around him. No one expecting the big fella to be in the right place at the right time. Not a problem here with this, Bill.
Mitch Garbutt has made an impact already with that carry that helps set up Joel Tompkins' try, and very quickly he's claimed his only try, his first try rather, for his new club.
Such an intelligent kicker of the ball. They've got 3 options already. Jimmy Carnos goes close. I agree with Tez, I thought the pass was on, it was one-on-one. You see him in space, Ben Crooks. But look what happens here. The player outside, Scott Taylor, goes up. I think it's Dean Hadley. He goes up, Scott Taylor hangs back, and the door is open. And Danny Maguire just simply threads the needle, and the replacement forward, with great skill, collects that ball and dabs it down.
Josh Drinkwater then with another surely formality for him, and the scores are level. 12 points apiece and 5 minutes to go till half-time.
Well, Tim Sheens made a masterstroke point. Mitch Garbutt on caused an awful lot of problems. They can't seem to handle him when he's carrying the ball, as well as being in the right place at the right time there. It's going according to script, isn't it? The same as last night. One team goes out in front, 12-0 up. Then all of a sudden the other team comes back, draws it up 12 apiece.
Another cracking contest. And from the Betfred Championship on Sunday, this should be pretty lively as the York City Knights, newly promoted, host the Toronto Wolfpack in the first championship game of the season. You can see that from 3 o'clock on Sky Sports Arena on Sunday afternoon. Great weekend, first weekend of the Rugby League season. Super League and Championship action on Sky Sports. Mitch Garbutt got a try for Leeds in a magic win against Hull back in 2017, Good Friday 2017. And he's repeated the dose. Houghton High, penalty. Greenwood didn't bat an eyelid.
More physical set that, wasn't it, from Hull FC? Really tearing in to Hull KR. On that occasion, though, Danny Houghton too high on James Greenwood.
Well, in his press conference during the week, Lee Radford said the bench of Hull KR will cause us problems. They've got good impact coming on off the bench. James Greenwood and Mitch Garbutt have certainly lifted the game when they've got on.
Junior Vaivai allowed to run there. Linnitz lost the ball. There's a hand in there, says the referee.
To go for 2.
Well, back-to-back penalties, yeah. Take the 2 points. Josh Drinkwater now just talking to the ref, Ben Fairley. Says, yeah, we'll take the 2 points. How valuable it could be at the end of the game. You can see all the experience in the world from Sika Manu, who strips that ball in front of the referee.
Sika Manu, who opened the scoring in this first half when Hull FC had that purple patch. And they built that 12-0 lead, and they've seen it taken away from them. Josh Drinkwater, once, of course, the Catalan Dragons, following in a good tradition of Catalan Dragons halfbacks coming from Australia. And of course, Scott Giroux is already mentioned on Sky Sports here this evening by Brian and the guys. One of Drinkwater's predecessors at the Catalan Dragons, Scott Giroux, up against it back home in Australia with health issues. And very best to him in what lies ahead. Drinkwater is on target, and Hull Kingston Rovers 12-0 down, lead 14-12 with half-time approaching.
Well, they've had to do it tough, haven't they? And Lee Radford, well, he's going to be so disappointed from the start that they had to where they find themselves now. With just under 2 minutes to go to half-time. They looked all in control, led by the likes of Mark Sneed. But Hull KR, the determination that they've got in their ranks, the players that they've signed, everyone's having a big impact. Everyone's adding to the game tonight.
14-12 then. And the Rovers supporters a bit happy with life. They went a bit quiet when the visitors had control of the game. But it's been a good end to this first half for Tim Sheens and his team. 68-year-old Sheens, the elder statesman of Super League coaching. Unbelievably, his coaching career began 35 years ago. He's seen it all, but he's seen some drama here in the closing seconds of this first half. As his side come forward, Drinkwater puts the brakes on, changes direction, trying to bamboozle the black and white defence, but the ball gets away from him and Griffin snaps it up.
Well, Hull FC come on with it, but what about the play from Hull KR? Everything was around the ruck, keeping it nice and tight, change of direction from one side of the ruck to the other. The inside ball just splits Hull FC. They turned off. They weren't expecting those sorts of players right before half-time. Nice energy from Hull KR.
Beretta Faraimo with a strong run. Taylor gets away from the first challenge.
I don't think Scott Taylor's been off in this first half. Him and Danny Houghton have really led from the front for the Black and Whites.
Sneed, a little step from him. Greenwood gets a hold of him. That's the final tackle of the first 40 minutes. A really lively 40 minutes, which began with Hull Kingston Rovers looking very sharp indeed, putting FC under pressure, almost claiming a try from Junior Vaivai. But Hull turned it round, got into the game. Tries from Manu and Matty Dawson-Jones, both converted by goal by Sneed, put them 12-0 up. But a rousing end to this first half from Rovers. Tompkins and Garbutt with the tries, Drinkwater kicking 3 goals, and it's Rovers who lead 14-12 in the break.
It's gone back to Richardson. Richardson with the drop goal. He's kicked it!
At Argos, our new range is out now. Plus, save 25% on Silent Night beds and bedding with code SILENT25. And save 20% on sofas over £250 with code SOFA20. With the Argos card, you can take up to 12 months to pay when you spend £199 or more on selected furniture. Plus, get this 8kg candy washing machine for £229. Upgrade to a 9kg for just £20 more. With Argos, you're good to go.
Quickly, come on, got your ticket.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
Are you lonely? Search Warmers Worcester to find your new boiler and local installer.
Had any offers yet? No. You need to check out Zoopla's Agent Finder.
Find the right agent for you. Start your move with Zoopla.
Let's go and see a film with Meerkat Movies. It's one whole year of films with Meerkat Movies. 12 months, 4 seasons. The deal is all year long. Get a whole year of 2-for-1 cinema tickets when you buy through Compare the Market. Simple.
Those your first 4 scorers?
All right, special one. You pick 'em. You pick 'em. You pick 'em. You pick 'em. Challenge accepted. Brain cells, current prize money?
We've hit the jackpot, Hunch.
Score stats, Hunch?
It's Hunch time.
1, Fabinho. 2, Vardy. 3, Sterling. 4, Harry.
Kane, heed your hunch with Betway's Fortascore for a chance to win 250 grand this week.
10 teams will chase glory as the Vitality Netball Super League returns. Live, only on Sky Sports.
You ever dream of ninjas, knights, or cowboys?
Hit me with it.
Gasp. What about superheroes?
It's better. Now I'm free.
Great. Or spaceships? What do you think? A spaceship is just gonna appear out of the blue? Dang it. If only all this existed in one place. Oh, wait, it does. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Ah! Oh my gosh, my hands are stuck.
What? Let your imagination run wild this half-term. With the greatest collection of Lego movies ever assembled. Everything is awesome. All on the Sky Cinema Lego Collection.
Them perhaps weave a little bit of magic.
Three days of Premier League action, 4 matches for you, all on Sky Sports Premier League. Tomorrow it's Spurs Newcastle, 11:30 a.m. Super Sunday doubleheader starts with Leicester Man United, 1 p.m. start for that, and Man City Arsenal, a game that will be crucial in the title race. It's 4 p.m. and then Monday Night Football sees Liverpool, the leaders at the moment, travel to take on West Ham. 7 p.m. start for that. There are 2 other games for the Betfred Super League taking place tonight over the Menda Hose Jungle in Castleford. It was the Paul McShane show for the first 30 minutes of the game, scoring all the points as they broke out into an 8-0 lead. Greg Eden scored yet again, continuing on from where he left off last year. It's 12-0 to the Castleford Tigers against Catalan. Over the John Smith Stadium, Salford were slight underdogs going into this game. They lead 8-2 at half-time. Try from Junior Sow and Ken Seo in his first competitive appearance for Salford, give them an 8-2 lead. Ken Seo, of course, formerly of Hull Kingston Rovers, and his old team have a 2-point lead at half-time. A lead that looks somewhat unlikely as Hull FC roared into a 12-0 lead after some early pressure by Hull Kingston Rovers. It was all the visitors for the next 30 minutes, though at half-time it is now the home side with a 2-point lead. And they'll go in at half-time and wonder why perhaps that lead isn't more when you look at some of the statistics. 55% possession for Hull Kingston Rovers, made far less tackles than the visitors. And but it's those missed tackles perhaps that has cost them. Hull FC just 3 missed tackles in that first 40 minutes. Right, messages at half-time being delivered by coaches of both sides. Tim Sheens, who said this is a game in which his side must step up another level. He has referenced the team across the city and said for the last 3 years Hull FC have been the benchmark club in the city of Hull. He has now challenged his side to get to that level. Lee Radford, of course, and his side have such a disappointing end to 2018, will be low to start the new Super League season with a defeat. They have lost their last 11 competitive games and they have thrown away a 12-0 lead in that first half. Welcome back to KCOM Craven Park and welcome back to Paul Cook. The cliched game of 2 halves there looked so good for Hull FC there at one stage.
Yeah, it did. The road into a 12-0 lead, didn't they? Really poor tackle from Kane Lynette on Sika Manu opening try, and then some really good eyes-up football from Danny Washbrook. A smart kick, put Chris Atkin under some pressure with the kicking game, I think, Hull FC, particularly for the second try. And yeah, just a really poor tackle, isn't it, from Kane Lynette? Gets his body position
probably
all
doesn't
wrong.
Get set quick enough.
Exactly, going backwards, and well, this is just putting Atkin under some pressure, isn't it? Not a regular full-back, missing Quinlan there.
You're absolutely right to reference Danny Washbrook because the speed of thought here is exceptional.
Absolutely, yeah. It takes some doing, doesn't it? It looks like a good bit of skill, but, you know, to sum up that situation and then put the right boot on it, and this is really smart play, isn't it? Just stripping them of numbers there, and Joel Tompkins crashes over a nice ball from Danny Maguire, and Wilkinson Rovers completely come back. I think Garb off the bench has been outstanding. You know, him and James Greenwood have really turned that second 20 minutes in that first half in the favour of the Red and Whites.
Drinkwater, of course, converted that Mitch Garber try and then tacked on a penalty as the half came to a close. What, if anything, do we read? I mean, Hull Kingston Rovers will probably look at that first 40 minutes and say we had 5 and 6 really good looks at the Hull FC line. Kicking game hasn't been as sharp as it needed to be. and probably didn't get any returns. If they had gone in with 5 or 6 good chances and not scored, Tim Sheens, you can imagine, would have been absolutely livid. He might have tempered somewhat.
Yeah, I think so. I think coming back and going in at 14-12 is just rewards for Hulkington Rovers. As you say, I think they've had a few looks at the black and white line, and the kicking game's not quite been on point. You know, a couple of kicks gone dead from Drinkwater, one on the full for Josh Griffin for a 20-metre restart and a 7-tackle restart. So, yeah, I'm sure Tim Sheens will want a little bit more composure from his arse, because they have had plenty of looks at the LFC trial line, and maybe should be ahead a little bit more looking at the statistics.
OK, let's get the thoughts of John Wells. Been having a close eye on that first 40 minutes. John, what stood out for you?
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to pick up on something that Paul's just mentioned, and that is the impact off the bench. It was something that Lee Radford made reference to when he was looking at the 2 90-man squads, how he thought that opposition bench would feature, and particularly the impact of Mitch Garber. I think less a case of finding the range for the kicking game for Hull KR, and more a case of when Mitch Garbutt came on and really started committing defenders, that opens up space, because it starves an opposition defence of thinking time to think, time to organise, time to talk. I'll try and illustrate with a look at Mitch Garbutt's try, actually. Pick Mitch Garbutt up at the top of your screen. I'll just identify him quickly for you here. He's going to come back on the inside from a pass from Danny Maguire. And this is the second time he'd done this. He did it in the lead up to Joel Tompkins' try. Look at the amount of players he's committing, but he's staying upright for longer. And see the effect that has on a defence here. There's guys that are not able to talk and set and really have a look at what's going on the other side of the field, and what's being prepared and organised by someone with the nous of Danny Maguire here. Equally as important is what it does to Jamie Shaw. It roots him behind the ruck. He has to stay very, very honest. He cannot make any anticipatory moves here or here before the play. Now, pick you up the play before the try. Danny Maguire once again organising this left edge for Hull FC. Not had an awful lot of time to communicate and assess what's in front of him. It probably leads to that from Faraimo, feeling he needs to come in. Now, have a look at Danny Maguire again. He's getting himself into position and he sees something. And it's what we talked about the play before. It's Jamie Shaw. It's a scrambled defence. It's an individual who can now no longer leave that area. Look at the distance that this man here has got to cover on his own. So he's trying to pull players in. He's trying to reassess that, re-establish some form of defensive line. But Danny Maguire knows at this point there is no way that this man, this fullback, is leaving the line. What does that do? That opens up a great big hole here, and incidentally, I think it makes the kick a lot easier. It gives him much more options and more space between defenders. He's still got to be accurate. He's still got to be well weighted, which it is, and Garbutt benefits from the try. But I just think smart things like that, smart thinking and quick thinking from players with the experience of Danny Maguire, probably play a large part in why Hull KR are ahead.
Thanks very much, John. Jamie Shaw perhaps tentative with a few kicks that were aimed in his direction. How does this second half unfold? You tipped Hulkington Rovers before the game. You going to stay with that prediction?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've really dominated. You know, the scoreline doesn't really reflect the dominance of Hulkington Rovers, and if they can sharpen up their kicking game, then they're going to get lots more opportunities in the Hull FC end. OK, he is standing by his pre-game prediction, Paul Cook, Hulkington Rovers to win. We will see. We've got a second 40 minutes from this Betfred Super League clash on the way. Barry Terry and Bill Arthur standing by. It is a 2-point half-time lead to the home side. But you feel the visitors, they've got something else left in the tank. They'll bring it out in the second 40 minutes. That's on the way.
There's bingo, and then there's Bet365 Bingo. Be part of our fun-loving community, and you can win cash prizes. Bet365bingo.com. Please gamble responsibly.
Lloyds Bank, by your side.
Say hello to Otto Sergey.
Hello, I'm here to simplify your life.
Otto Sergey is just like real Sergey, but without the fleas. So relax while he do all the stuff you don't want to. Let's start with energy. If he thinks you're paying too much,
I just found you a better energy deal. Would you like to switch?
Sure.
High five.
See how Otto Sergey could make switching the energy easier.
Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Food loves Kikkoman.
Rob Beckett and Romesh Ranganathan
He's sad, I'm happy. That smile is so punchable.
are walking in the footsteps of superstars. Without the skills or the talent.
This goes to my wife in about 3 weeks.
Meeting Super Bowl winner Jay Ajayi in Rob and Romesh versus the NFL tonight at 9 on Sky One.
This February on Sky Sports.
Don't mind if he goes for 6 either.
She's almost there, and she's down.
Got the thrilling anticipation of a final here at Wembley. Feel it all this February on Sky Sports.
Here's your moment. Takes it cleanly.
The teams are out for the second half as Hull Kingston Rovers hold a 14-12 lead over Hull FC in the second live game at the start of the Super League season here on Sky Sports. A bitterly cold night at KCOM Craven Park, but it's been a game to warm the cockles, that's for sure. Really great contest, as you'd expect, between these two great local rivals in the city of Hull. And the second half underway, Sneed gets us going, and Craig Hall underneath it for Hull Kingston Rovers, who'll be feeling pretty good about life, having turned this game around, trailing 12-0, and now starting the second half with a 14-12 lead after that flurry of points at the end of the first 40 minutes. And there's one of their try scorers, Mitch Garbutt.
Well, Lee Radford mentioned the bench of Hull KR, didn't he? And I think Mitch Garbutt, James Greenwood, Tommy Lee, they've all added some power. They've all toughened up around the middle of the field, and both sides completing high. Hull FC with just the better completion rate. Missed just 3 tackles, but it's Hull KR in front on the scoreboard.
Kick from Maguire, claimed by Shaw, and then he is immediately put under pressure by the Rovers defenders. Beretta Faraimo. Got a career best 19 tries last season, Faraimo. Nothing for him so far tonight. Not a chance, really. And here's Josh Griffin. Huddersfield level against Salford. 8 points apiece, and Castleford leading the Catalan Dragons 14-0. Houghton back to Sneed. Sneed drills a kick down the middle of the field. Chris Atkin deputising at full-back for Adam Quinlan. Quinlan, a notable absentee for Hull Kingston Rovers. Now here's Craig Hall.
Well, they look like they're just making some easy meters. And then the outside backs, look, meters after contact from Ben Crooks. Straight to a couple of forwards. Well, Haraki looks to pass the ball on. Greenwood, change of direction, loves that little cut play, runs the unders off his half-backs, whether it's Danny Maguire or Josh Drinkwater.
Halfway line, Tommy Lee. Little run, and then gets the ball to Maguire. Maguire brings Crooks back on the inside, flicks the pass away, and it's Dean Hadley who gets there first. Groan from the Rovers supporters on that far side of the field. Here's Faraimo. No frills about this winger.
Well, he thought he could get that quick offload away to Joel Tompkins, who was running back behind him to go down the short side. He couldn't readjust, he couldn't stop, he couldn't take the ball in.
So it's FC with the ball in hand now. Back infield from Hadley to Shaw, and Shaw is scragged to the ground by Kane Linnett. Mickey Paya, the Tongan international, made 54 appearances for Hull Kingston Rovers before moving across the city. Little flick out the back, finds Carlos Tuimavave. He gets the pass away. Long ball, other side of the field. Griffin now. Griffin flicks the ball away to Faraimo. Faraimo is tackled into touch. Good work. And then a little bit of a flare-up. Minicello and Maguire.
Well, that's outstanding defence from Hull KR. They made that mistake. It looked like they were building a good set, but a loose offload, a loose pass. Gave Hull FC the ball. What about that for committed defence? Hits Faraimo, keeps his hips in close, drives his legs, puts him over the whitewasher. When the ball goes back in, the two flyweights having a bit of a word with one another.
I'll tell you what, after that, after the ball had gone, Minicello and Maguire were swapping jokes there, having a joke spar with each other. Two seasoned campaigners, really. They've seen it all. Mark Minicello, 37.
I said flyweights, I think they're more like cruiserweights, these two. Mark Minicello, fierce competitor, and Danny Maguire in his last season in professional rugby league, a determined character anyway.
Player down in back play as the ball finds 36-year-old Danny Maguire. Maguire plays the ball. Here is Jimmy Kinehorst, and Faraimo will return the compliment.
Payback time now, Jimmy.
But he stays on the field of play, does Jimmy Kinehorst. Here's Garbutt, just bumps off Danny Houghton. Houghton comes back for a second attempt. Maguire just drills a kick, and Shaw across the field to pick that one up, and looks to straighten it up. Opportunity to go downstairs, get the half-time news from Angela.
Thanks, Bill. Both coaches talked about momentum and how it swung in that first half. They lost it. They had early pressure, said Tim Shees, but regained momentum in the second half. Some good stuff he saw them play, but now it's about controlling the football and the field position. The same usual stuff coaches said, he said. But what he really wants them to do is to keep playing footy, not play not to lose, but play to win. Lee Radford says he thought it was a good performance from his side. The momentum did swing in the second half of the first half, but he wants them to keep pushing, he says, and we'll get this.
Really evenly balanced, thanks Angela. With Hull Kingston Rovers leading 14-12. The kick coming in, and eventually getting away from Chris Atkin.
Well, both coaches know there's absolutely nothing in this game. Who's going to be the most disciplined? Who's going to get to the end of the sets? You know that the likes of Mark Sneed, Drinkwater will place the ball wherever they want it. If you win that last play and really put the fullbacks under pressure, whether it be Jamie Shaw or Chris Atkin.
Go on. Here's Garbutt again, builds up a head of steam and charges the ball towards Mickey Paya, who stands his ground and makes the tackle.
I think he's made a big difference. He's really difficult to handle.
Tompkins. And there's a ball steal. Danny Houghton. The penalty.
Yeah, Danny Houghton it was on Joel Tompkins. Just have a little look. Every time Danny Houghton hits, he always likes to wrap up the ball.
Thanks, Rob.
He gets his head nice and tight. He's in there, his arms around the ball, he strips it.
Rovers penalty. The crowd on that far side of the ground lifts with their side in an attacking position, but two balls on the pitch. Referee calls a halt. Now Maguire resumes. Here is Kinehorst.
One move, back here, lads.
About 10 metres out then. Rovers, Tommy Lee, Garbutt, quick hands, ricochets, comes back, and it was a whole hand in there. The referees wipe the tackle count clean. More pressure on the Hull defence now, with Rovers on the attack. Greenwoods, James Greenwoods, inside that Hull 10. Tommy Lee, Giroud, Linnett. I will say Giroud. It was just Drinkwater. Junior Vaivai, Drinkwater, Haraki, Maguire. Here is Garbutt again. Seems to be everywhere at the moment. Tommy Lee directing operations. Maguire quickly on. Tompkins takes the ball, and then the Hull defenders pounce. There is Tommy Lee, another former Hull man, wearing the Rovers colours. Drinkwater takes the tackle. They manage to keep it alive. Do Rovers. Garbutt once more. Little sidestep from Garbutt. That's the 5th tackle. Drinkwater finds space to put the kick in. Junior Vaivai has gone for another one. Has he got this one down?
Goal line drop out. Sorry, I've got a 20-metre restart, Rob. Can we just check that, please?
Ben Thaler reckoning that nobody got a hand to it, and he wants to know how to restart the game.
Well, it's good defence from Hull FC on their own try line, isn't it? They're put under some pressure, and again it's a pressure kick. Scott Taylor thinking, what should we do? Who's the one who taps the ball over the line? Is it Vaivai? Is it Taylor? Who gets the last touch on it? Taylor makes a play for it.
Junior Vaivai touches it.
Vaivai knock it on after Taylor's attempted push over the back line. He's worked hard, Scott Taylor, as I said. I don't think he's been off.
It's deemed the last touch was by Vaivai. Sorry, off a Hull player, the last touch.
Well, Scott Taylor makes that play for it, doesn't he, with his right hand. He knows that Vaivai's loitering with intent, doesn't want to take any chances.
Goal line dropout it is. Thumped downfield. Received by Drinkwater. Garbutt once more. He really has got a feel for this game as Mitch Garbutt. In the thick of it. Here is Greenwood now. Tommy Lee barking instructions. Maguire. Now Atkin. Kinehorst powering towards the line.
That's good movement from Hull KR to hit Kinehorst, right in his stride.
They go down the short side. It comes back to Kinehorst. And it's another 6 to go, says the referee.
Desperate defence by the Black and Whites on their own goal line. A number of times they've got their hands to the ball. They handed an advantage to Hull KR.
Here's Haraki. Greenwood puffs the cheeks and takes on the Hull defenders. Lee's got men on the short side, but he goes for Drinkwater. Drinkwater. Garbutt once more. Bang in front of those posts. Lee. Here's Maguire. Maguire, stray pass that time, goes behind Kinehorst. And the former Leeds man has to pick that one up, and nowhere for him to go really, but into the clutches of Minicello. Lee. Maguire now. Maguire, little dink from him. Shaw under pressure. Can get out. Does well there. Linnett was trying to drag him back.
Does a tremendous job to ride that tackle from Greenwood. James Shaw, when he gets that ball, he's still got to get out the in-goal area, and he does an excellent job.
They need some troops now, the Black and Whites. They've defended 3 or 4 sets of 6. The fullback was on hand, showed enough smarts to get out of that in-goal, but they need some bodies, they need some meters. And don't be surprised to see this kick from Mark Sneed potentially go over the sideline to slow the pace of the game down.
That's 5th tackle. And here is the kick. And it's drilled towards the touchline. Oh, he's touched it. It's a great kick.
Well, it just bounces up into Chris Atkin, doesn't it? And he goes for it, he kicks it, he knows exactly what he's doing. Tries to get it off the field. Chris Atkin just can't resist, gets too close to this bouncing ball, gets his body over it, and it's head and feed now to Hull FC.
And the last time Mark Sneyd put a tactical kick in, the black and white scored off the back of it.
10 metres, guys!
A lack of energy, a little bit of fatigue might just deny them this time, but they need to spend some time near their opposition's goal line.
The table's turned from being under pressure on their own try line. Now Hull FC looking to put the squeeze on Hull Kingston Rovers. Here is Faraimo. Picks up and goes himself. Does the USA international Beretta Faraimo. Maguire tangling with him, conceding the penalty.
We've got too much on the ball. We've got the leg as well. Come on.
Directly from the refs department this year. Any interference around the up, give the penalty away. Very consistent the opening 2 games that we've seen on Sky.
So Dean Hadley now takes Hull FC closer to those posts. Sneyd, Washbrook. But Kane Linnett makes the tackle. Drinkwater there as well. The ball's stolen.
Well, I was going to credit Josh Drinkwater, saying he was getting up quick, he was turning the play back on the inside to his forwards, but gives that penalty away. Getting more pressure here.
Tommy, move!
It's Mickey Paya. Tommy Lee with the tackle. Houghton. Ball going wide. Sneyd on quickly to Beretta Faraimo. Faraimo barreling his way towards the line, but they're going to put him into touch again. He just manages to stay in the field of play. And they've got players on their backs at the moment of Hull Kingston Rovers as Josh Griffin tries to use his strength. Faraimo gets the pass away under pressure. Sneyd on. Houghton across the field. Here is Shaw. Shaw puts the brakes on. Washbrook now. Rovers keeping their shape. Little dart from Jordan Thompson. Newly on the pitch, Thompson. Houghton, short pass from him. Sneyd finds Mickey Paya. About 8 metres out they are. That's the 5th tackle. Rovers holding firm at the moment. Sneyd, little kick ahead. Oh, can't get there. Nearly turned it into a try, but Tommy Lee got there ahead of him and saves the day for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Well, Mark Sneyd with an against the grain kick. He's got all the box of tricks as Mark Sneyd. His body and his whole motion is facing towards his right. He kicks the ball to his left and chases hard. Tommy Lee has no other option.
Okay, shot clock off.
Goal line dropout then, which Craig Hall gets away and gets good distance on.
Big set for Hull Kingston. I think they're sucking in the big ones. Jordan Lane's on, Jordan Thompson's on now. Try and give him a lift up front.
There is Jordan Thompson. Plays that ball. Washbrook.
To move! Tiny rocks!
Jordan Lane takes the pass and the tackle. Houghton. Sneyd, quick hands, Shaw, that looked forward, it was forward! To the delight of the Hull Kingston Rovers supporters.
Well, good pressure out wide from Jimmy Kynhorst. When he jams in on Jamie Shaw, he knows that he's got to get the timing right. He does that. He puts him under pressure. Jamie Shaw knows because he's attracted Kynhorst, there will be a 2-on-1 outside. He looks to get rid of that ball quickly. Goes into self-preservation mode, really. Gets rid of the ball, starts backing off. Great defence, Kynhorst.
We just saw a good shot of Joel Tompkins. His pressure from the inside, his work from the inside, give the confidence to Jimmy Kynhorst. Yeah, there's an injury there. Anti-top Dawson Jones just taking a breather, but the clock is on. Players have got to get up.
Scrum is fed. Well, the idea was to bring more pace into the game, and it certainly appears to have done that. Very little let up in the pace of this game. Salford ahead, 20 points to 8 at Huddersfield. Sorry, Terry.
I agree, there's pace, there's excitement, the players are bought into it, the coaches are bought into it.
I tell you what, you don't want to stand around for too long on a bitterly cold night like this anyway, do you?
And you don't want to lie on the floor either, it'd be freezing.
You might not be able to get back up.
Stuck to it.
Nice shot.
Jordan Thompson, again putting pressure from the inside. I think it's Lawler with that little shuffle. Just slips around top of the shoulders.
You go for 2 points here, lads. Or do you keep the pressure on, keep on going at the line?
I think the mentality, and Angela said it at half-time, Tim Sheen's side, let's play, let's keep passing. You've got Hull FC, who are talking about keeping it tight, playing that power game, and taking a look at the opportunities when they present themselves. And then you've got Hull KR, who want to play, want to test, want to challenge and throw some unorthodox stuff at their opposition.
Drinkwater, very quick hands, finds Craig Hall skipping back in field, but there are numbers there for Hull FC to stop the former Hull man making any progress, but they've got real numbers on that side. Kane Linnett is one of them, but he is driven back. Tuimavave in among the tacklers. Matty Dawson-Jones underneath. The ball comes back to Lawler now. Vicky Payer was high. Tommy Lee. Maguire. Opportunity here now for Kinehorst. And Kinehorst is denied.
Good effort. I think it's Jamie Shaw who comes across the back. Farimo comes up with a decent effort. He halts Kinehorst, but it's the effort from Jamie Shaw across the back, covering like good full-backs do. Prevents Kinehorst from getting over the line.
Now I saw this from St Helens last night. They had a crack at the line of Wigan, and the next defensive set the tone for the back end of the game.
This is like that phase in the Wigan Saints game last night when Saints were just piling in. They were piling in, and Hull Kingston Rovers are doing the same now.
Well, I know the point you're on about. That was when Mark Percival come up with 2 big shots in 2 sets, wasn't it?
Here's Masi Matongo now, back on the field for Hull FC. Rovers still leading by 14 points to 12. That's the 5th tackle. And Sneed drills another deep kick downfield. That is a monster, almost to the opposition try line.
The winning and losing of this game for Hull FC is in the hands of Mark Sneed. If he can continue to pin the Rovers down near their own try line, make the players work hard for those meters, they'll drain the energy. There might just be a momentary lapse in concentration when they're defending.
Still waiting for the first points of the second half, unbelievably. 14-12, oh, that ball slipped out the back, but it's adjudged a knock-on. Junior Vaivai protesting, he was just juggling.
Shot clock on.
I think he's got a loose carry there, Vaivai. When he goes into that, he has got a wicked step off his left foot. Said before, he powers through his quick feet, decent speed as well, powerful. You can see the size of him.
Time is off. Come on.
We've had a great opening night with St Helens against Wigan. Well, it was a great opening night if you're a neutral or a Saints fan. We've got a great game here, and there's another one lined up for tomorrow night on Sky Sports. Sky Sports Arena tomorrow 5 o'clock for the Warrington Wolves against the Leeds Rhinos.
Wait here, boys. Rob. Go, discipline lads, 1.
It's Hull FC in possession with Jordan Thompson. Back at Hull after a year with Leigh Centurions, and then briefly the Leeds Rhinos. 14-4. Castleford lead the Catalan Dragons. With Carlos Tuimavave now, Hull FC. Junior Vaivai clutching at air for a moment there.
They're working hard from the inside, though, aren't they? Hull KR, when the ball goes away from them. Look at the line. They'll keep pushing across.
Houghton trying to duck under the challenge of his opposite number in terms of captaincy, Joel Tompkins. Sneed short ball. Dean Hadley pushes off the challenge of Kinehorst. Houghton now. Masi Matongo. Danny Washbrook, his shawl for Carlos Tuimavave. Leggy running centre. Tuimavave gets the pass away, but Matty Dawson-Jones couldn't really hope to get to that one.
Do you know, ultimately that's a loose offload, and Carlos Tuimavave, just presuming that his winger's going to be outside hugging that touchline, he'd run past that ball. But you have to credit both teams for the defence, their effort, their commitment.
Yeah.
No, and I think as well that you look at the forwards, and everyone's saying that with the interchange coming down to 8 from 10. A lot of talk about the shot clock, but when you look at the forwards, and in particular Mitch Garbutt, I think that they're doing bigger minutes, they're doing better minutes, they've had to train harder in the off-season, they've had to get used to the speed of the game, the speed around the rucks, and they seem to be handling it well. All the forwards that we've seen play over the last couple of nights have done themselves proud.
It's Garbutt again.
Movement! We're here. Go.
Plays that ball. Still well inside their own half, Hull Kingston Rovers, but looking to break out now with Atkin. Gets the pass away to Kinehorst, but gave Kinehorst the ball and Josh Griffin at the same time. Here's Ben Crooks, and Crooks stopped in his tracks.
Back to me, lads, and wait. 5.
Matty Matongo it was.
Go, 5. Kick.
Drinkwater hoists the kick. And it's claimed by Matty Dawson-Jones.
It was an ugly kick, wasn't it? It was spiralling all over the place. The flight was awkward. And I suppose the player that was most committed to it was going to get hold of it. Matty Dawson-Jones, for Hull FC. Just grasped the ball. Look at that for a carry.
For Rymo.
Legs pumping, refusing to be put down and dominated.
Go. Square. 4.
Jez Litton into the action off the bench, the former Academy international. Litton. Here's Washbrook. The ball reaches Shaw. Jordan Lane's pass it was. Houghton lofts it over the top to Griffin. Griffin pushes off from Maguire. That's the 5th tackle. About 10 metres out. Sneed puts a little grubber kick in, and Chris Atkins sweeps across well to claim that ball.
Well, Chris Atkins got a lot to deal with. He's looking at who's going to kick the ball, where the runners are going. Danny Houghton had made a beeline for just outside the post. So Chris Atkins thought, bet your bottom dollar that's where it's going to go to. And with Danny Houghton on, with Jez Litton on, the dynamic hooker, you can see that they're going to try and take them on around the ruck, get those quick play the balls, go for speed. Try and target some of those bigger forwards as the game comes towards the end.
Stand up. 4.
Still waiting for the first points of this second half. It's been real toe-to-toe stuff. The chances, though, actually been few and far between in this second half.
2 committed sides, and it's still a very quick game, isn't it?
Drinkwater kicks across field, and Beretta Faraimo thinks, I quite like that. I'll have some of that, says Faraimo. And he makes some good yards.
A powerful winger every time he gets that ball.
Houghton. Matongo.
It just looks like both of these teams now are breathing in deep, taking in the big ones, preparing themselves for the last 15 minutes.
Jez Litton, little dart from the 20-year-old. Here's Sneed now. Sneed. Washbrook claimed by Kane Linnett.
We're here, boys. Go for.
Shaw. Here's Jordan Thompson. Thompson almost through a gap. Mulhern clinging on. Washbrook. Litton puts a little kick in, and there's the man for all seasons, Mitch Garbutt, showing great hand.
He's everywhere, isn't he?
Nobody ever doubted the quality, especially at Leeds Rhinos, of Mitch Garbutt. The difficulty was keeping him fit. When he's fit and healthy, he's as good as any front rower in this competition, and he's certainly put his case forward tonight. He's been absolutely everywhere. He's looking at the sideline, wondering whether he's going to get a little bit of a break or blow, but he's been playing that well. Why not keep him on?
Go.
Well, Rovers make a change, and I think it's Kane Linnett who's come off. And Danny Addy, who has come on. A big game for Danny Addy, his first appearance since a knee injury struck him down pre-season in 2018, and he had a terrible 2018, battling back from that knee problem, and he's back out on the pitch now.
Yeah, we hope it goes well for Danny. Danny Addy is a former player, you know, coming back from an injury, especially a big one like an ACL. You want that first game to go well, and hopefully he'll get a victory for his side as well.
There he is, the former Bradford man. His last Super League appearance, in fact, was in 2014 when he was a Bradford player, and they took on the London Broncos. Here he is now on the Super League pitch again, and involved in that tackle. As Hull FC come forward, Tumavave, long ball to the middle of the field, and then Sneed ghosts around the first challenge, gets the pass away to Faraimo. Faraimo just shoves away the first challenge and goes all the way. Beretta Faraimo, he's been threatening that, and this time Hull got him clear, and there was no stopping the winger. He was Hull's top try scorer last season. He's got his first try of this campaign. A no-frills effort from Beretta Faraimo.
Well, he's got some power, hasn't he? And when Faraimo gets that ball and he has someone rocking back on the heels, it's going to be difficult to get him. Hull KR, well, they shoot out the line, the ball does the work. What about that ball from Mark Sneed? All the pressure came about because of the men shooting the line, leaving some space outside. But Mark Sneed recognises that Hull KR players coming at him. He gets on the outside of him. And look at that for a pass. And the power here, the see you later to Drinkwater. And there he goes.
So much to admire about that try. The recognition and the reaction from Mark Sneed. Lovely footwork, the accuracy of his pass, and the pure brutality of the finish from Faraimo.
I think brutality is the word, Barry.
Big, powerful winger. One-on-one, he's going to take some stopping.
So first points of the second half go to Hull FC, puts them back in the lead. And Mark Sneed, well, the clock is running. Not maybe taking as long as he would normally do, but not able to hit the target. 16-12, 16-14, I beg your pardon.
I just like how calm Mark Sneed is at that point. Lets the ball do the work, and I have to apologise to Josh Drinkwater. It was Danny Maguire who was bumped off. And again, he doesn't panic. A couple of big plays. First it was the skip from that man to get outside, then it was the pass, then it was the footwork and the bump off for Faraimo.
Faraimo sent off on this pitch last year. Well, he's made his mark again tonight in a positive way.
He's made his mark on a few defenders as well. Takes some stopping, the big fella, and his work early on in the tackle count has been just as important as that try could prove to be.
Matongo. There's Jez Litton. Had a run in the side at the end of last season, Jez Litton did. Played in the final 5 games of 2018, which was pretty hard work because Hull lost them all. They lost 11, in fact, in a row, hoping that they're going to start 2019 with a victory. As that kick is drilled toward the sidelines. And Atkin claims it. Craig Hall brought down.
Well, Hull FC now looking to up the tempo in defence. You see Danny Houghton, he's always the heartbeat of that defensive line when they get forward.
One of the things that Angela told us, the messages that Tim Sheens gave his side, play to win. Let's keep playing and let's play to win. Expect Hull KR to throw this ball around and really test the fitness and mental stamina of Hull FC.
But conversely, one of the things Lee Radford has talked about ahead of this season, because of the way Hull tailed off last year, was their fitness, their ability to last the pace, and looking to improve on that. And it'll be interesting to see if that is something that they've achieved. That ball's gone backwards. No, it's gone forward, says the referee. Faraimo, hero one moment, villain the next.
Wow, well, listen to the crowd go up then. What is it, 17 metres from Hull FC's line? There's the mistake.
To be fair, it's Griffin, isn't it?
Yeah. Faraimo, when he goes up, look, He knocks the ball backwards. He's facing his own try line. It's Josh Griffin who makes a play for the ball, stops it, then brings it forward.
So the pendulum swings once again, and it's Hull Kingston Rovers in a good attacking position. Just about 18 metres out, and Mossy Masoi is out there to exploit any fatigue in the last 10 minutes in the black and white camp. Maguire, little step from Danny Maguire. What a thrill it would be for him to score in his first Hull derby. Drinkwater gets the pass away, and Addy is stopped just short of the line. Good defence again to deny. Tommy Lee it was. Danny Addy. Drinkwater's kick, and claims by Mark Sneyd.
Excellent work from Jamie Shaw at the back. He was pulling his plays, he's pushing him, he's prodding him, he's telling him where he wants. And then even on that last play when they kick the ball through, he shields the man who dives down on the ball.
I agree, I saw the same thing. I'd love to see his GPS stats at the end of this game. He's been all over the field. He's been pushing, prodding, and look where he is. Right place, right time, and Mark Sneyd again with another quality involvement. Still in the balance this game, lads.
Scott Taylor back on the field after a bit of a breather, and Sneyd launches that kick downfield.
And nobody wants to claim it, do they? The spiral on it, the awkwardness of the kick and the depth of it.
Sorry, Ben Crooks. Oh, the ball's come free. Matty Dawson-Jones. Oh, and he's hurt.
Oh, he gets caught underneath Craig Hall then, doesn't he? And he gets that ball. You can see that his leg gets caught underneath the body of Craig Hall as he's holding his right hip.
He ends up almost bent in half. There's the ball. Steal or fumble. There was a knock-on from Hawkeye. Look at that. Awkward fall. Feet and studs stuck in the ground, and Craig Hall is just trying to effect the tackle. Nothing wrong with that, but oh, it's awkward. Looks painful. And you can see from the reaction of the player, he feels it. Just testing the stability of the knee or the hip.
Lee Radford's got enough injury problems to be going on with at the start of the season, with the number of players out. More action to come on Sunday here on Sky Sports with the Betfred Championship game between the York City Knights and the Toronto Wolfpack. Sunday 3 o'clock, Sky Sports Arena for that. Great start to the championship season. Matty Dawson-Jones is back on his feet after a bit of treatment.
Does well to get up from that, doesn't he? He did look awkward.
Groin, top of the thigh, certainly something got twisted, but that error from Hull Kingston Rovers has given Hull FC an opportunity with 8 minutes to go to maybe put more points on the board, to edge closer to another victory here. They've won on each of their last 3 visits to KCOM Craven Park. Houghton, Scott Taylor now. Taylor forcing his way towards that line. Litton with a little run, and Ches Litton is held just short of the try line. Houghton back. Oh, and Washbrook puts the ball down. He was looking for the next pass, wasn't he?
He'll be upset with that, Danny Washbrook. The ball was above his head. You can see that he's looking at what's in front of him, and he makes the mistake, the fumble in front of the sticks.
Massive crowd here tonight, despite the horrible conditions. It is, in fact, a stadium record. So well done to Hull Kingston Rovers and to Hull FC for turning out on a pretty foul night. They've managed to stay dry because the sleet and snow has held off, but it is bitterly cold. Some people have been clutching hot water bottles.
correct, Bill, but they've really added to the atmosphere and intensity of this game. Made such a difference when the crowds come out. They make their feelings known, and the players have really risen to the challenge. Good defence from the black and whites.
Salford cruising to victory now at Huddersfield. 30 points to 14 they lead. Now then, can Hull Kingston Rovers pull this one out of the fire? Still plenty of time for them to do so. That kick is straight into the arms of Beretta Faraimo, and we've already seen that he has got the appetite for taking on these Rovers defenders.
Well, kicking on the fourth plate, needed to be behind him, it needed to find the grass, maybe roll into the touch. Jamie Shaw getting involved, nice and quick. Another, again, Hull KR player left on the floor.
You get the feeling that Shaw maybe is going to find that little gap in these last few minutes with the defenders flagging. Penalty
in a dangerous position,
goes
boys.
Hull FC's way. Tompkins, dejected slump of the shoulders really from Joel Tompkins.
Tough decision here for Hull. 2 points in front on the scoreboard. Do they take the 2 on offer? Only push them out. 4 in front. They're going for the sideline, keeping possession. Wise decision, I think.
Go to tap.
Coming up to the last 5 minutes then of this Hull derby, the 233rd derby match between these two sides, and Hull FC looking to take the spoils, but with the slenderest of leads as Carlos Tuimavave tries to weave his way through. But they're bang in front of those posts. Scott Taylor now wrestling with the posse of defenders and getting over the line.
Oh, 40 nearly got that down then, Bill.
Looked for a moment as though he had, but Taylor didn't claim it. Sneed, short ball from Sneed. Minicello bounces off the first challenge. Jez Litton, Sneed now. Sneed, Mossy Matongo straightens up, takes on Tompkins. Maguire there to make the tackle as well. Rovers back on their own try line, desperate to keep Hull out on this occasion, but short ball, and it finds Josh Griffin. That was the last tackle. That will be the turnover. They do withstand the pressure.
There's been some great defence on Shaw. Look at that again. Chris Atkin getting under Scott Taylor. Then the ball goes out to Hull FC's left-hand side. Again, good defence from Hull KR.
2 try-saving tackles for Hull KR, and I'm always worried in a game when Hull KR play, and I haven't mentioned Craig Hall's name. We'll go beyond him, a full-length effort.
They need something dramatic now because the clock is running. They're about 40 metres from their own try line. And it's with Greenwood. It's Danny Addy, I beg your pardon. That's the 5th tackle, though. They're going to have to come up with something spectacular here. Little chip kick over the top, but it's claimed by Danny Washbrook. And Washbrook's lost the ball. The referee says it was stolen. Drinkwater protests his innocence, says it was one-on-one.
Tackle was complete, that's the difference. The tackle had already been completed before that happened. So Drinkwater's got to get out of the way, and that's the penalty.
And that is a massive, massive let-off for Hull FC. And an opportunity gone for Hull Kingston Rovers.
This is where Hull FC do need the ball control. Play out the last couple of sets. They don't need to win this game again. They're in front on the scoreboard by a slender lead, but decent defence from Hull KR, looking to force the mistake. They know they need the ball back. They're running out of time.
Just the Beretta Faraimo try in this second half. Rovers held a 14-12 lead at half-time. Faraimo has claimed the only points of this second half. And 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes for Hull Kingston Rovers to try and save this game. 2 minutes for Hull FC to hold on to claim another win, and Shaw is having another go. Danny Addy gets a hold of him. pins him to the ground. Sneed. Griffin using his strength to try and blast a hole in that Hull Rovers defence. Little kick over the top, batted back by Shaw, but nobody could claim it, and it's a knock-on from Danny Houghton. Shaw doing well again there.
Jamie Shaw has been all over this field for his side, and although there hasn't been a glut of involvement for Mark Sneed, I don't know whether he came up with the right kick. He went for Broke, he went for the try. Maybe a kick over the sideline might have been the better option.
Mossy Massoy coming up to the final minute. It's going to have to be a wonder play. It's going to have to be a wonder play from Hull Kingston Rovers. Joel Tompkins takes the tackle. 3 gone this set of 6. Down the short side, Maguire goes. Maguire back on the inside to Kinehorst. Kinehorst wrestling for the ball with Sneed. He clings onto it. Maguire. Danny Addy now. Coming up to the last 30 seconds. He's with Lawler. Lawler backs off the first challenge. They're about 20 metres out. That's the 5th tackle. Drinkwater points towards those posts. He's going to launch this ball. He does so. They're chasing it. Crooks backs it back. Addy, Maguire, Maguire, Kinehorst. The glory for Kinehorst. The referee keeps his cool. The Rovers fans are jubilant. Sort this one out. Tim Sheens wants to know what the score is. The referee says it's a try. Let's have a look at the grounding. Robert Hicks, the video ref. Has Jimmy Kinehorst stolen this game for Hull Kingston Rovers?
What a way to finish this game. 6 seconds to go on the scoreboard. Look at that for the kick. Absolute perfect. You can see, I think it's Ben Crooks who's got his eyes on the ball. He's looking up. He jumps. He gets above Griffin. He pats the ball back. I think that's clear. And then all of a sudden, from this point then, Danny Addy looks to shift the ball on. It goes to Danny Maguire. The man who's played in 9 grand finals comes up with another magical play in his career. And it looks like it's going to be the match-winning play. And Jimmy Kinehorst gets that ball down. Big play, big play. No problem here for me. He's got that down. That's how you finish a derby game.
Wow, what a start to the season. Jimmy Kinehorst, one of Hull Kingston Rovers' new recruits for this season, has written his name into Hull derby history with the match-winning try. Surely now that'll be confirmed. Jubilation on the bench, jubilation on the sidelines. Rovers have snatched this game in the last seconds. And Jimmy Kinehorst finding a way through. And the Rovers supporters salute their side. Craig Hall salutes the try scorer. Josh Drinkwater will try and maintain his 100% record with the boots from the touchline. He couldn't get any closer to the touchline with this conversion. But the victory belongs to Hull Kingston Rovers, who were staring at defeat until Ben Crooks batted that ball back. Danny Addy, returning to the game after a long absence, made his mark. Maguire kept his cool, and Kinehorst provided the athleticism. Here you go, here it is again. The former league this season. What about that?
Well, you've got to keep your nerve, haven't you? In those situations, say 6 seconds to go. When that ball comes down, Danny Addy doesn't panic, ships the ball out. And as I say, the man who's played in 9 grand finals for the Rhinos, Danny Maguire, knew exactly what he had to do. He had to get a 2-on-1. He had to pull in the wing, and he had to pass that ball to that man who was hitting the ball at pace. He was under some pressure, but he gets the ball down. Tremendous game, tremendous advert for Super League.
Well, there they are, two of the Rovers debutants, Josh Drinkwater and Jimmy Kinehorst. Danny Houghton and his whole side must have thought they'd got the game. Well, it was never in the bag, but they'd done enough to hold out for the victory. But this match has had everything. Drama, excitement. Oh, what a great start to the season. Brilliant game last night. Brilliant game here at the Caycon Craven Park tonight. A stadium record crowd to witness it as well.
But when you saw Hull FC and Mark Sneyd looking to kick the ball out of the field because time was running out, you thought Hull KR trapped down near their own line. Have they got something in the bag? Can they get up there? I know Barry mentioned Craig Hall. Will he come up with a special try? Use his footwork, use his speed, get up there. It was from a kick, it was from a fumble. Good play from Ben Crooks. Danny Addy, the ball out wide to Danny Maguire. And then the try scorer, Jimmy Kinehorst. Well, he might have made his debut tonight, but he's a favourite already.
The Hull players trudged dejectedly to salute their supporters at the end of the ground. It is now, going back to last season, 12 defeats in a row for Hull FC, but they were so close here tonight to ending that losing run. But they hadn't reckoned with that late drama. And what a start to his Hull Kingston Rovers career for Josh Drinkwater. He's the man of the match tonight, and he's with Angela.
There you go, Josh, there's your Silver Salver. What a classic to start the Super League off with, a win over Hull FC. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. To score in the last minute, the last second of the local derby. The crowd was outstanding, the atmosphere here was unbelievable. So to get off to the season with a win, that's the main thing, and the monkey's off our back now when the season starts.
You consider that last set started that end as well. You had to hold your nerve and you had to have something in the tank to get that try.
Yeah, originally I thought we were going to have a shot down this left side, to be honest, and then last play I just thought put it up in the corner, and it was a contest, got a lucky bounce, and Jimmy, it was a great finish in the corner. So as I said, it was a game, we knew it was going to be 80 minutes. We probably didn't think it'd be the last second, but a win's a win, and it's a good way to start.
Given the conditions as well, that was played almost like you were at peak fitness there. That was a really classic game.
Yeah, that was tough. The weather, very cold, very wet, ice on the ground, so the ball was very slippery, but the way we started, we were down early 14-0, and to come back, I think it shows the character that we're building already. We believe in what we're doing, and hopefully we continue on now.
Your coach said to you at half-time, I don't want you to play not to lose, I want you to play to win. You played to the whistle.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way Tim is. He wants to attack. We do a lot of work on our attacking structures, and it's worked off.
Well, congratulations, you deserve that. Charity man of the match, £250. Where's it going to go, Josh?
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know any charities. I've only just landed about a month ago, but I'll find someone in Hull and I'll find a charity to make sure it was good use.
Let us know, won't you?
Will do. Thank you.
Congratulations. Danny, come here. You didn't get a single Hull derby last year. You've got one. Was it worth waiting for?
I wish we wouldn't have left us late. It was a bit tense there. It was a real tough second half. We just didn't have any ball. Legs were tired away. We struggled a little bit to get our own end, and just managed to stick in there and grab something at the end, so obviously really pleased.
Danny, I've watched you be part of and score some tries at crucial moments for Leeds. How does this one rate you that pass out to the edge?
Yeah, it's special, it's really good. It was bouncing in here tonight, real great support, and obviously to get the win there, sets us off on a real good start to the season. It's what we started, it's not what we aim to do, so good start. We're not getting carried away, but we're really happy.
Really, really close game, but I'm sure you would have liked to win it by a bigger margin. But tell us about Hull FC and the fight they put up.
Yeah, they deserve a lot of credit. They're a good team. Radis is a really good coach. He's got them working hard for each other. That was tough. We could have probably scored a few tries. Went out on that right edge early on, but they defended really well. And then Sneed kicked us to death a little bit in that second half, so lots to work on, but obviously delighted with the win.
Another story for the autobiography.
Cheers.
Thanks very much. The winning try. Wow, you held your nerve, and that touchdown in the corner there. Talk us through it.
Yeah, no, I just had to get around the winger and finish it off. You know, credit to Crooksy who got up there and Adi and Magsy who passed it on. But no, it was just a massive effort just to stay in there until the end there. I think we were under the pump in that second half quite a lot when they opened up a bit. So, just to stick in there with it, and we knew we'd get another chance, so just glad to take it.
We talk an awful lot about spirit and belief, don't we, in this game? You have to have it to be able to stick it to the last seconds.
Yeah, definitely. I think when games are as close as that, you have to stick with it, stick in there, and you'll get another chance. So we were grateful when that came up, and lucky enough we finished it off. What
do you think inspired this win?
Sorry?
What inspired this win?
Just the togetherness in the team. I think we've had a good pre-season, and there's still plenty to work on going forward. But obviously the main thing we brought on the 2 points tonight, and it's a big game. You have to put that passion of the derby down for a bit, and remember it's a game of rugby. And, to bring the 2 points back is the main thing. So we're happy with that.
You've given this crowd and the crowd at home watching as well something to really enjoy at the start of this season. What a classic to begin.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome to be part of it. So grateful and pleased.
Well done,
Cheers.
Jimmy. Thank you very much for your time. We have the victorious coach now. Tim, were there moments there where you thought, this isn't going our way, we're not going to get this one?
Yeah, there's no doubt. But that's a derby game of football, really. It was to and fro, very close. Obviously we had to come back at them and then finish at the first half, get back into the game by half-time and then finish with, 6 seconds to go. But a really well-constructed play, so credit to the boys.
What were you most pleased about?
The fact that we stuck in. When they took the ball off us on the ground there, the kid got hurt for a second or two, I was really concerned we were in a bit of trouble. We had 2 minutes to go, and I'd used my 8 interchange, so I moved Danny out into the middle and George to the second row, and Danny come up with a great play there to set up that left to right shift, and he's a smart kid, Danny Addy, and made the difference. Jimmy just got it down, didn't he?
Just about got it down, that's all that matters. The great thing about this atmosphere and the whole derby, to start a whole season off with a game like that's got to lift your spirits.
Well, it does for us and our fans, there's no doubt. And everything held up well. We didn't get snowed on, looked like being anything before the game. I think it was a good game of footy, close. Both sets of supporters can't whinge that their guys didn't have a go. So we just got our home. I'm glad we were at home. We just got home.
Enjoy the moment. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's seen plenty in his long and illustrious career, and he can now add one of the most dramatic derby wins to that list. Okay, here's a reminder of the final scoreline: 18-16 in favour of Hull Kingston Rovers. They had a 2-point half-time lead, but with just seconds remaining in the game, they were trailing by 2. Here are the match stats. Possession slightly in favour of Hull Kingston Rovers. Handling errors 9 apiece. Tackles missed 20 for Hull Kingston Rovers, just 8 for Hull FC. On those stats alone, you would say it was a pretty good defensive effort from Hull FC. What does their coach Lee Radford make of their 12th consecutive defeat stretching back into 2018? Lee Radford is with Angela. Angela?
Well, to lose it at the last seconds when you almost had that in the bag, it must have been the most disappointing start to a season you've had.
No, not whatsoever. Very encouraging signs. I thought we dominated for significant periods in that second half. To lose is obviously disappointing, but I've had worse starts to a year than that.
It was a great game to watch. I'd say almost a classic to start a season with. What would you change if you could do with hindsight now, bearing in mind the result?
I just thought we had a real big period of possession in the second half. I'd love to been a little bit more clinical down their end of the field, but we've got both half-backs missing, so you've got to expect a little bit of clunkiness. We look clunky at times, but I can't fault any of their effort. Catch it. I wouldn't want to change that for the world. So, Jake's back next week. Obviously, we'll get a little bit of finesse back there, and if we can carry on turning with that attitude, I'll be over the moon. It was
a game of great discipline, I felt, as well. It was a fast game, and it was a good game to watch, but discipline was great. And when Farimo scored that try, that was your holding on and taking your chances when they came.
Sure, look, you have a period in this game where you know, you have to put him away, you have to punish him, and I just felt for that period was really dominant and probably just didn't come away with, you know, enough down there end of the field. So even the last set I thought we'd done enough. It was, you know, unfortunate it turned out the way it did.
It's what you expect from a derby, really, isn't it?
It's a great way to start the season. I watched last night's game, was fantastic. I thought tonight was fantastic, and onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. Next week again, Castleford, another big one.
Can't wait. Thank you. Cheers, Angela.
All right, the thoughts of Lee Radford following his side's defeat. 6 seconds left on the clock, and Lee Radford, I'm sure, would have had a smile on his face, a long-awaited smile. 2-point lead at half-time to Hull Kingston Rovers. Plenty of chances in the second half, but just a couple of tries. To take us through those and his moment of the second half, we can go to John Wells now. John.
Thanks very much, Brian. Yeah, not much in terms of changes on the scoreboard, apart from all the late drama. There was the try, wasn't there, on the 67th minute from Beretta Faraimo. Lovely work from Mark Sneed in the build-up to that one, which put Hull FC in the lead, and they made the Hull KR fans sweat, didn't they, right till the very end. The moment I'm going to pick up for you, because the game breaker is obvious, you don't have to look too hard for that, but 2 minutes before, I want to show you something, and it's on the line for Hull KR. They are 2 points down. It's in the 78th minute, and Mark Sneed gets a ball on the short side, and just look at the option that he's got here. I'll take this forward to the point where he releases the ball, because there's a line here from Josh Griffin, and that's a try-scoring line run. Have a look at what Ben Crooks manages to do. Ben Crooks we've already lauded for his ability to get up in the air and keep that ball alive with 4 minutes to go. Well, with 2 minutes to go, he stopped Hull FC from crossing for a try that I think would have killed the game. And then, of course, you fast forward to the moment at which this match was decided. And it was a bit of a Hail Mary, wasn't it, from Josh Drinkwater? He's already admitted as much in his post-match interview. There's Crooks again, recycling. Smart pass from Addy, and then Maguire to Kinehorst. Two Hull Derby debutants. Combined to send these Hull KR fans home in raptures. Fantastic game, and sometimes that's it. You don't have to look too hard for the game breakers, but there's always a little bit more there. Ben Crooks fantastic in defence a couple of minutes before his key involvement in attack.
Thanks very much, John. There were two other matches from the Betfred Super League tonight at the Mendehouse Jungle. A couple of tries from Greg Eden. He's had 58 in his last 2 seasons, 2 so far to start season 2019. He's seen the Castleford Tigers 20-4 winners over the Catalan Dragons, whom Lewis Tierney scored. Salford, big winners over Huddersfield, 34-14. Hat-trick for Niall Valls in that game, and 2 for Ken Seo, the former Hull Kingston Rovers man. It's a big, big win for Salford. Yeah, new beginnings. Well, if we get more action and entertainment like that, we'll be well satisfied. I mean, it's the first game of the season. Neither side is going to be at their very best. Hull FC, of course, missing, as Lee Radford said, the finesse of Albert Kelly and of Jay Connor. No lack of effort, but a theatrical finish of the highest order.
Yeah, absolutely, and everything you want from a game one in a derby. It was, you know, on a knife edge. You know, very little in the game, very little between the two teams. I agree with Lee Radford. I just didn't think they did enough, Hull, when they had that weight of possession second half, and you know, ultimately it's cost them.
Might Hull KR look at themselves and say the same thing? Plenty of chances, particularly in that first half, and didn't capitalise on those, Barry.
I just thought it was a good contest. There were moments within the game, and I remember saying with a minute to go, Mark Sneed, instead of staying in his left channel, comes in field, chips the ball over the defensive line. Moments don't define a game, but there are moments within that game where you can just take a stranglehold. It wasn't the reason they lost that game. It was just good play. It was confidence in their own ability. And Tim Sheens is confidence in his team to say, go out in this game and play to win, which was the message he gave his side for the second half.
Onwards and upwards was the message Lee Radford gave Angela in the post-match interview there. They won't be able to hide from the fact that it is now a 12-match losing run. They've lost the opening game of the season. They've lost it to their arch-rivals. I would imagine one of the positives, though, Paul, they will pull out of that is the effort that they put into the match. I suppose effort sometimes is a minimum, but there was finesse and effort. Maybe not as much finesse as they wanted.
Yeah, and I think that when you're missing the likes of Jake Connor and Albert Kelly, you do get a little bit of that, don't you? So, you know, they're just not quite at it in attack. You know, just not quite able to open up the Hull Kingston Rovers defence when they had that weight of possession. But certainly very encouraging signs from Hull FC. I thought it was a great game of rugby league. Both teams, you know, very, very good, and will get better.
Big impact off the bench for Mitch Garbutt for Hull Kingston Rovers. You not know in the commentary, Barry, you're very impressed with what he did. John analysed his performances at half-time. And one of the recruits, they said we're going to recruit better players, less of them, and Hull Kingston Rovers, Mitch Garbutt, one of those.
And Lee Radford said during the week, didn't he, I'm worried about the bench, I'm worried about the impact of James Greenwood, Mitch Garbutt. Danny Addy got a little bit of time, a little bit game time, but it's his first comeback game from injury, and when Tommy Lee took the field, he certainly added some value. But Mitch Garbutt, as I said in commentary, nobody ever was concerned or worried about the quality of his involvements, Mitch Garbutt. They've got to keep him fit, and if they can keep him fit, he's one of the best front rows in the game.
Jamie Shaw, towards the end of that match, looked like being the spark that could perhaps propel Hull FC to a victory there. A couple of big runs, and grew into the game. I felt a bit shy, a bit reticent to attack the ball in the first half. They changed in the second half.
Yeah, I thought first half when he went through, he maybe could have made more of a fist of that, and maybe getting over the try line. I thought if he'd have gone for the corner and not held back. But yeah, certainly some probing runs. He's difficult to stop, isn't he? He's good on his feet, very agile, quick, and deceptively strong.
And a very big tackle on Jimmy Connors made note of in the 57th minute by Jamie Shaw, as good as Ben Crooks' tackle.
I think the work that he had to do defensively, Jamie Shaw, for those that don't know, they were a little box on the back of the shirts. Rugby League plays a GPS system that will track the distance they run, the speeds, the contacts, the impact. And Jamie Shaw, I would hazard a guess, would be beating everybody on that field today. I do think, and I'm going to preface Mark Sneyd, I'm critical of him on that last kick, that last decision he made, but he and Jamie Shaw, those two players were doing the work of three players, because as Lee Radford had said, they had no half-back, they had no six. And although he did a good job, Danny Washbrook, he's not a standoff, and he couldn't add real quality to that triumvirate of decision makers.
On the flip side of the coin, Hull Kingston Rovers, Danny Maguire and Josh Drinkwater, if they can keep both of those on the field, that'll blossom, you feel, into a very productive partnership.
Yeah, I think it's a good bit of business, isn't it, for Hull Kingston Rovers, bringing in Josh Drinkwater. Obviously, Danny Maguire is going to retire at the end of this season, so the long-term replacement is in place, and it allows 12 months for Josh to be with Danny and then take over that role. But yeah, I thought them two was very good, and you're right, keeping them two fit will be key for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yeah, Danny Maguire has seen plenty in his career. It's the first time he's experienced a Hull derby, and he has emerged victorious. He played his part, of course, in that performance. Jimmy Connors will never forget his contribution. Coming up next on Sky Sports Mix, it's a HSBC World Rugby 7 series from Sydney. Of course, Fiji and USA are tied for the overall lead of that series. New Zealand in third. That coming up next, Sky Sports Mix. Okay, another side who people expressed fears about this year were Salford. Small squad. Had a look at them in that pre-season game against Wigan. You felt if they could keep all of those players on the field, they would have a chance this year. Of course, we'll see how they progress as injuries occur during the season. What a result to start the season. They've gone to the Jotsmith Stadium and Huddersfield. We know how that resurgence under Simon Wolford, and absolutely tagged on a massive score, really.